Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor. I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about E3 because we're at the time of me recording it, E3 is rolling to a close. It's not quite finished yet, as far as I'm aware, but it's rolling to a close. And so as a result, most of the information that we're going to get from E3 has come out. There were the press conferences at the beginning of the week and whatever else. And my overall opinion was that this was just kind of a dull E3. Like, oh, there are a whole load of games like announced for next gen stuff, for PC, for whatever, and whatever else, but I don't know, there just wasn't anything to get excited about. And I want to go into some more of that in a minute, but the first thing I want to say is yes, Death Stranding was shown, it was a new trailer and all the rest of it, so I won't be mentioning that here at all in any of the games that I talk about. I'm not going to be going through every single game anyway, but I'm not going to be talking about Death Stranding because I obviously, with the other trailers that I've been through, I kind of want to see if I can evolve my theory further by going through this new trailer as well in its own video. So I won't be mentioning any more about Death Stranding specifically because I want to do something else with it. But let's get into this with a positive thing first. And I'm probably going to say positive and then follow it up with my thoughts on it. And a lot of my thoughts maybe aren't as enthusiastic, aren't as excited, aren't as positive as they could be. But I feel like that's just kind of the way that E3 has gone this year, where it's like, oh, positive followed by just nah. So we'll start off with one of the games that I want to be excited for, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. I'm a big Cyberpunk fan. I haven't played the Cyberpunk, I think it's 2020 something. I've not played the game, but obviously I've played other games that are cyberpunk in nature. You know, I've played Traveller, I've played Shadowrun, and I've enjoyed the Deus Ex series of games, and so on and so forth. So I like me some good old cyberpunk. I love me some good old Blade Runner inspired stuff. And it's not all Blade Runner, but that's just the name that springs out every time Cyberpunk comes up. And so, you know, Cyberpunk as a game sounds amazing. And then looking at the most recent trailer, in-engine footage of Night City, and yeah, it looks great. I love the fact that they've not gone for, oh, it's black and white and dark and sepia toned, and all I can hear is Adam Jensen's voice as it rains. You know, it's a colourful place because of course it's going to be, because there are LEDs everywhere. The sun is shining because of course I believe Night City is set out in California somewhere. So it's a case of going, yeah, so it's sunny because it's gonna be sunny. There's not going to be that much rain. It'll rain every now and again, comparatively, but I believe, from what I recall from when I have read some of the text, even though I've not played the game, I've read some of the stuff around Cyberpunk. I believe Night City is somewhere kind of between Los Angeles, San Francisco, and like the edge of the Nevada desert. I think I could be wrong. Somewhere like it's if you've got those 3 points, it's in the middle, I think. But I would need to double check that. Either way, it's in a warmer climate, so yeah, there's going to be sunshine. And I like the fact that they've actually gone and done that, because so many other cyberpunk games and things like that are all, it's dark and it's gritty and it's miserable and it's raining all the time, and yeah, that's a little old to an extent. And whilst they've got gameplay that they showed a whole load of press guys in a closed session, it's a case of, well, we want to see it too. If you've got it, show it to us. We might be the layman public, but then again, actually, we're probably just as well qualified as the non-layman journalists. So let us see it. We know that the game's in development and things are subject to change. We understand that when it comes to games in development. So let us see it. You know, because when it comes to just the trailer, yeah, the trailer was cool. It was shiny, looked good, but it doesn't really show us anything. The little message from CD Projekt Red was nice, where they kind of clarified again about no microtransactions, free updates plus DLC, no DRM, all that kind of stuff. That's great. But again, it's a case of going, this is a game with no endpoint at the moment. And considering it's a game with no endpoint, the only information that we as players get to see is just another cinematic trailer, whether it's in the game engine or not. That's just not enough. When you've got games journalists coming out of the private showings of the gameplay going, this is the game that Deus Ex wants to be. This is mind-blowing. It's amazing. CD Projekt Red, take all the time you need. Well, great. If that's what you're getting from the gaming press, we're not going to take the gaming press's word on it. If you've got it, show it to us, because then we will take your word for it, CD Projekt Red. It just seems like a missed opportunity to actually get everybody on side who's still a bit sceptical, or who the hype has begun to die for just because it's taking a while. Give us a look. Tell us what's going on. And so that's where I was kind of left with a good number of the games actually that are kind of coming out in the future that didn't have a kind of finite end date to them, a finite release date, because it was just a case of going, yeah, this is all very nice, this is all very well and good, but you're not showing me enough to give a damn, But let's move on to some of the other games that looked good and that are maybe coming out sooner. The one that stands out to me is Fallout 76, because Fallout 76 is, I'm a big Fallout fan. I've enjoyed the franchise for a while now, and it's a building and survival game within a wasteland 4 times the size of Fallout 4. So that sounds amazing. Apart from then, again, the lack of specific information. And this is a fault on the part of some of the gaming press as much as it's a fault on the side of the studio, because the studio could very well, it might not be a fault for them. It might be that they are deliberately skimming over stuff because they've not nailed it down yet, they're not 100% sure. But I'd much prefer to have a journo turn around and go, what about this? And then Todd Howard or Pete Hines turning around and going, well, yeah, actually, we're not sure about that yet. I'd much prefer to hear that they're working on it and still deciding on something than just nothing. So, and I'll say this, granted, that there are an awful lot of little snippets of news and things like that still coming out of E3, and there probably will be for the next 2 weeks or so. But considering and as a result, though, I can't have watched all of it. So if there is more information about what I'm about to say, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and I will be very gladly corrected and possibly even really happy that you took the time to comment, because it might actually allow me to get excited for this game that, under any other circumstances, sounds like something I would be really into. But then when it comes to it, it's a case of going, okay, so we've got Fallout, we've got survival game, we've got a building and all that kind of thing, and it's the multiplayer aspect that a lot of people have kind of wanted, but they've not really wanted it to this extent. I feel like this is the thing that ZeniMax and Bethesda have done with their 2 biggest IPs now, where it's a case of lots of people were going, we want a co-op mode in Skyrim, we want a co-op mode in Fallout, or Elder Scrolls and Fallout, we want co-op modes because we would love to be able to play with our friends, with our characters in these awesome environments. And so as a result, they went, oh yeah, we can do that. And then Elder Scrolls Online turns up, and there you go, oh yeah, we can do that. And then we've got multiplayer Fallout 4. But it's not just a co-op mode. It's not just you can rumble around and enjoy time with your friends in this world that you like. It's a case of, right, well, now we've built this entire experience just around the multiplayer. And that's neither here nor there. That's something that they've decided to do. But then, whilst they've been saying, because obviously lots of people want to play it as either a co-op game or a single player game, because that's what they expect from their Fallout. And so then when you've got Pete Hines, for instance, saying, oh right, yeah, we've got this challenge system in the game, so there won't be griefing. You should be able to approach PvP the same way you approach a Deathclaw. You can either go in and try and fight it, or if you just don't fancy it, then you can not engage and it won't chase you. And it's like, okay, but then what does a challenge system mean? How does that actual challenge system mean? How does that interact with everything? What is it mechanically? Because the words challenge system don't really mean much when it comes into what we're looking at in the game. And what about private servers? What about just playing with your friends? We've been told that that's a thing, but otherwise I've only seen the one journalist actually ask about it, and that was a case of Todd Howard going, yes, there will be private servers. But does that mean there'll be a private server like in Conan Exiles, where if you want a full private server, you have to pay for it? Will it be, and it'll be a monthly subscription? Does it mean that then with this private servers, you're talking about like peer-to-peer hosting, where if you're playing, again, good comparison is Conan Exiles that we've been playing on the channel. Is that going to be a thing where you can go, right, well, I'm hosting and you guys are coming into my game? Just for the three of us, and whether there's tethering or not, or however it works, is that what it's going to be? Or is it going to be like certain games that are attached to Steam, for instance, where you have your dedicated servers where you can just go, right, we're setting up a private game, and it will just pull you into a private game on one of their dedicated servers that is allocated for kind of more limited use. Is that going to be the way it's working? How is that going to work? Not a single games journo that I've come across through the videos I've watched and the articles I've read has made those specific questions kind of solid by pitching them hard at the members of the Bethesda team that they've had sat in front of them. And I'm like, that's something that I care about. That's something that a lot of people care about, because it's Fallout. And the people who are really engaged with Fallout are used to engaging with a single-player, immersive experience. Okay, great. So now, how is that going to interact with potentially having... They've said dozens, so let's say maybe 48 players across a server. Because I play a lot of these games with Hannah, because we're long distance, and we enjoy building stuff together and just chilling out together, and so... it's a way for us to connect and use as a distraction whilst we talk about our days, as it were. And yet, does this mean that if Hannah and I go into one of these games as just the pair of us, then even though they've talked about blueprinting systems and the camp system and how you don't lose any of your stuff after you die or anything like that, that's all very, very well and good. But that being said, does that still mean that whenever Hannah and I jump onto a server, that's going to be 46 other people that we need to compete with, to take on, to fight, that might get in our way, that might cause us problems, might try and harass us into fighting, might, depending on how the challenge system even actually works, might just hunt us down, even if it's only the hunt us down once and then they can't hunt us down again, that still means that, let's say, each one of those other 46 people are part of larger groups, so we're potentially running scared from several groups of players coming to get us, when all we wanted to do was come in, load into the game, and we were like, we want to build a big tower today, let's go build a big tower, or we wanted to go do this, let's go kill some stuff, which is kind of what you would maybe expect more from a multiplayer Fallout, because that's what you get from a single player Fallout, apart from you have a friend next to you instead of a random AI companion. Although some of the AI companions are awesome, I'll say that. But it's concerning to me that I want to be excited for that game, I want to be interested in it, I want to love it a lot, but I just can't bring myself to it, because again, there's just not enough good, like, full quality or full and quality communication around the areas that aren't just, oh yeah, this is a feature in the game. I don't care about the feature in the game. I want to care about the infrastructure outside the game that will allow me to play it, considering you've said that it's multiplayer. I want to know all of the ins and outs of the multiplayer, because whilst it's not a battle royale and they have tried to make it a co-op experience and they're saying that there's a main story and all these side quests and things like that, that's great. But you've still made it a multiplayer experience, and I want to play multiplayer the way that I want to play multiplayer. So will there be preferences for me to set? Will there be Will the challenge system have just a no to everything setting so that you can just wander around, meander, and enjoy yourself? In regards to the blueprinting systems and the camp system versus having nukes dropped on you, how are you going to work all that out? And they've said in regards to how many nukes they can set off at a time or how many other things are going on, they've said that they're still working that stuff out. And I'm like, regardless of how you moderate that, though, you put it in the hands of a player, especially someone who loves the game and just no lifes it. They're going to find a way around stuff. They're going to find a way to break things. They're going to find a way to do what they want to do, regardless of what it is. And if one of the things that they want to do is cause a hardship for other players, especially other players who have maybe just loaded in, lower level, don't have much in the way of ability to compete with them, then how are you going to manage that? You know, it's not as cut and dry as they seem to think, and it worries me that that's the way that they've kind of put it across so far. But then we've got the one show which I knew was going to be terrible. I knew was going to be absolutely dire, and I was right. And that was the E3 show. And this is the big down, like, just the bottom point for the entire conference. And it was a shame that it was in one of the earlier presentations. And that is that it was literally a collection of elements throughout their presentation that just showed off that they don't care anymore, and they there are certain elements within E3 that do, but it was so shitty. Having their CEO come out twice and try and convince us that loot boxes and live services and microtransactions are the way forward, just so they can milk us for cash. No, I'm sorry. Piss off. Get off the stage. Your face looks like plastic. Your speech is so terrible, and the sentiment behind it is just greedy. Go away. In regards to the games that they showed off, or that they decided to talk about, the Star Wars game they announced, laziest fucking announcement ever. Wasn't even worth announcing. It's a way to try and all of those people that they pissed off with Star Wars Battlefront 2, this is their way of trying to get those people back on board. Too little, too late, wasn't enough. You know, come back when you've actually got something to present, rather than just having a sit down with one of the devs to just say, yeah, we're making a game. But then the biggest thing over everything from EA and their presentation was Anthem. And my God, does this game worry me. We've already seen a downturn in Bethesda's performance and the way that EA has been handling, BioWare. We've already seen a downturn in the way that they've been performing. We've already seen how poorly EA has managed BioWare in regards to games. The cutting of support for Xbox 360 halfway through the DLC cycle for Dragon Age Inquisition. The terrible release and the all of the problems that occurred with Mass Effect Andromeda, the fact that Mass Effect Andromeda with its continued story like the Quarian arc and stuff like that were just dropped because they were too busy being pathetic and they just didn't care to handle it anymore, so they just let it drop. That's just not good enough. And then Anthem shows up and they go, oh yeah, there are going to be no microtransactions apart from entirely cosmetic ones, and they're just going to be paint jobs and things, and that's going to be it, right? That's going to be it. So you like that, right? Okay, that sounds better, but we can't trust you. And then what else is in the game? Oh, it's a story-driven, story-focused, character-focused, old-school classic BioWare game, but it's got this kind of like huge open-world feel to it with this multiplayer element. Okay, so why is the only footage that we're seeing basically an Iron Man simulator? Where's the character-driven stuff? Oh, this is going to be a live gameplay, and we're going to talk you through it, and you're going to hear some of the players talking, and some of the... it's not live. No one's sat there actually playing the game. No one's live in terms of maybe you talking over it, but even that seemed pre-scripted, which is just... If you're going to use the word live, have it live. But this wasn't. And again, we had the same crappy kind of people pretending to be normal gamers who were actually just voice actors who probably didn't even have a controller in their hand when they were talking. Who talked in no way talked in a way that was in no way reminiscent of what a normal person says as well. It's like, yeah, this is the game that lots of people want to be amazing because it's an Iron Man simulator with BioWare making it. But so far, BioWare and more so EA's management of BioWare, but BioWare's performance as well has just not been up to scratch. So when they're saying all these things and they're showing off all this footage, they're not showing off the right footage, and we can't trust what they're saying. So that was just the worst part, like, of the entire thing. Because I want to like Anthem. I want to be able to play Anthem. I want to be able to enjoy Anthem. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to if it doesn't in any way piece together the way that they're actually suggesting it should. It's not a BioWare game where I'm able to play through a story with friends. Yeah, that sounds great. That's one of the reasons why I like Star Wars: The Old Republic. But when it comes to what they're saying, what they're showing, it's nothing. They could literally make a side quest that's early in the game, relatively easy to get to, so it wouldn't be spoilery or anything like that. And that side quest could literally just be, this is how you're going to interact with NPCs, this is how the story's going to progress, and this is it in a micro scale, but it gives you the idea. Yeah? But they haven't even done that. They've gone, oh, these people are basically going into a dungeon-esque kind of area at the very most, and all they're doing is blasting everything as they fly through, and that's it. And it's like, it's not what we're looking for at all. From the studio that's making it, from the people that are publishing it, this isn't what we want. There has been a gaping void of decent kind of RPG content from BioWare for a while now, considering that their last game just fell flat over the negative reception, all the bugs, all the unfinished elements of the game, the aggressive monetization for the various elements that they did have for the Apex missions, the multiplayer missions that were in that game. It's like, do better, guys. This isn't a hard thing to do. Show us just some of what we want to see. Show us the various different aspects of the game. Oh no, we just want to show you Iron Man flying through the sky, blasting stuff again and again and again and again, and that's all we're really going to show you. Well, then that's not everything we want from the game. Where's the rest of it? It's something that makes me lose hope, and a little bit of faith in humanity when things get twisted so hugely and people get forgotten so much when it's really obvious. But then otherwise, a couple of kind of notable things. I felt the best trailer was actually a trailer for a game that's already out, which was Sea of Thieves. I thought that their trailer for their 2 new DLC updates, or their 2 new major updates coming out over the rest of the year, I thought that trailer was ace, because it was, this is what we've already said, these are the titles, and then this is more about what it is, but told in a story-like fashion, and it was funny. Couldn't fault it, it was great. Devolver Digital's conference or their presentation was very refreshing, absolutely great. Unfortunately, what was it, My Friend Pedro was the only game that kind of caught my eye, and even that wasn't really, it's like, oh, that looks cool. And they didn't really have much else to show, which was a bit of a shame, but I'm really glad that they were there. And otherwise it's been kind of like a week of lots of things that I would maybe like the next Assassin's Creed game, where they're going much more RPG with it. That doesn't sound bad to me, but again, because they go so quick with Assassin's Creed games, like the last one I played was Black Flag. I love the series, but I haven't had the time to then pick up, or time or money, to pick up all the other games and kind of follow through and complete all of those games, at the very least playing through the storyline full, to kind of catch up. So, you know, again, something I can't necessarily be excited about just because it's just another Assassin's Creed game. It's just been added to the list, and I'll get to them eventually. So, you know, there's that. But what I would love to hear, guys, is what games you're excited for from E3 this year. And again, if I've missed stuff, like there are a whole load of samurai-esque games of one sort or another. Both, what was it? Ghost of Tsushima, which is kind of feudal Japan. And then you had the new game from Software with Shiro Shadows Die Twice, which looked very interesting, looked more of a maybe more mobile Ninja Gaiden-esque kind of approach to a game than the Dark Souls stuff that we've seen from Software so far for a while. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on some of these games, but some of them are exclusives, some of them are locked away. I sincerely hope that the comments made by one of the guys from, I think it was Ubisoft, about the next generation of consoles probably being the last one because PC is just plainly more worthwhile as a platform. I would love for that to be true, but I doubt it will be just because money and greed. But as said, I'd love to hear your thoughts and your favourites from the conferences. Like, what things are you looking forward to? What things did you feel were kind of shitty? You know, I would like to hear your kind of pros and cons. And again, if I've missed information somewhere, because again, there was a lot coming out and I've only been able to kind of grab bits and pieces as I've gone through and kind of watch as much as I can about the things that I'm interested in, but again, potentially I've just not watched the right person who asked the question that I wanted answered. So if you know and have some other information that I've not mentioned about some of the things that I was talking about, then please drop it down in the comments. I'd love to read it. It'd be great to see and hear. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the video later. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video later. Take care.